My wife stands in our nursery, the one we painted together after 3 miscarriages, and says, "I'm expecting your brother's child." The words hang in the air like poison. Sarah's hand rests on the changing table we assembled last Christmas, her fingers tracing the edge where I'd sanded it smooth. She's wearing the maternity dress she bought during our second try, the blue one with tiny elephants. It still has the tags from 2 years ago, but now the fabric stretches across her stomach. "Noted," I say. She blinks. "That's it? Noted?" My eyes find the ultrasound photo she's left on the changing table, positioned perfectly where we'd once placed our hope. The date stamp glows in the corner 3 weeks ago. I was in Singapore 3 weeks ago. The conference she encouraged me to attend said I needed the break after everything we'd been through. "When?" I ask. "Does it matter?" "The dates matter." Sarah's laugh sounds like breaking glass. "Always so practical, Michael, even now." Through the thin walls of our townhouse, I hear Mrs. Chen's television next door. She's watching her afternoon game shows, the volume too loud as always. These walls that once bothered me now feel like witnesses. "How long?" I ask. 6 months, maybe 7. 7 months ago was my father's surgery, when David flew in from Seattle to help, when Sarah insisted I stay at the hospital while she handled things at home. The ultrasound paper crinkles like autumn leaves as I pick it up. 12 weeks, 3 days. The math is precise, merciless. If you've ever felt your world shatter in seconds, you know this silence, this careful cataloging of betrayal while your body refuses to move. The date on the ultrasound doesn't match our timeline. David arrives 20 minutes later. Of course he does. Sarah must have texted him the moment I walked in. My brother enters our home like he still belongs here, using the spare key I gave him during Dad's recovery. "Mike, let's talk about this like adults." He's wearing the cufflinks I gave him when he was my best man. Sterling silver with our family crest. The irony tastes metallic. "There's nothing to discuss," I say. "Come on, you can't just..." "I said noted." David looks at Sarah, then back at me. His tell is the same as when we were kids. He touches his ear when he's lying. He's doing it now. "It just happened," he says. "We didn't mean..." "The security camera has been recording since you walked in." I lie. "We don't have cameras. Yet." "Everything you say now is evidence." His hand drops from his ear. Sarah's face drains of color. "Michael, please think about the baby." "I am." The cufflinks catch the light as David gestures. The same cufflinks that gleamed during his toast at our wedding, when he called Sarah the sister he never had. When he promised to always look after us both. He wore the cufflinks I'd given him for being my best man. After they leave, together in his car, I sit at our dining table with 5 years of credit card statements. The bank teller, Marcus, remembered me from our mortgage application. He'd printed everything without questions, just a sympathetic nod. Some truths don't need explanation. The patterns emerge like constellations of deceit. Charges at the Marriott downtown, always Tuesdays and Thursdays. Always when I had client dinners that ran late. The same hotel where David stays when he visits from Seattle. Except the credit card statements show he was here far more often than he told me. Tuesday, Thursday, for 6 months. I create a spreadsheet, date, location, amount, cross-reference with my calendar, Singapore, Dallas, Phoenix, each business trip a perfect opportunity. Sarah had access to my calendar. She knew exactly when I'd be gone. The paper trail is damning. Dinner charges for 2 at restaurants I've never been to. A jewelry store purchase on a day I was supposedly golfing with David. A bracelet I've never seen Sarah wear. Theater tickets for a show I missed due to a migraine. The hotel charges match my business trips perfectly. Catherine Reeves's law office occupies the top floor of a building that overlooks the courthouse. She's handled 3 divorces for colleagues who recommended her with the kind of careful phrases that mean she destroyed my ex. I need to understand what I'm working with. I tell her. She reviews the documents I brought. Bank statements, calendar comparisons, the ultrasound with its merciless timestamp. Michigan is a no-fault state, she begins, then pauses. But that doesn't mean fault doesn't matter. Meaning marital assets, custody arrangements, and especially prenuptial agreements can be affected by behavior during the marriage. We have a prenup. Catherine's eyebrows rise slightly. Recent? 5 years ago, before the wedding. Sarah's father insisted, actually. He wanted to protect her inheritance. I'll need to review it. I pull the document from my folder. Haven't looked at it since signing. Sarah had been offended by it, said it meant I didn't trust her to stay. The irony burns. Catherine reads, her expression shifting from professional to intrigued. Mr. Thompson, are you aware of Clause 7B? Not specifically. Infidelity clause. Either party who violates the marriage through proven adultery forfeits claim to marital assets acquired during the union. She turns the page. And here, subsection 3, infidelity with a family member of the spouse triggers additional penalties. My chest tightens. Her father put that in. Apparently, old-fashioned man. He caught his first wife with his cousin. Catherine nods slowly. That explains the specificity. Your prenup has an infidelity clause with multipliers for family. The DNA kit arrives via overnight shipping. Actually, 3 kits arrive. 1 for me, 1 will be for the baby, eventually. The third... I stand in David's bathroom. He's staying at the Marriott now, of course he is, but I still have his apartment key from when he asked me to water his plants during a fake business trip. His toothbrush sits in the holder, blue bristles still damp from this morning. The collection process is simple, sterile, clinical. I bag his toothbrush, then grab hair from his brush for good measure. The kit instructions are precise about contamination prevention, chain of custody, legal admissibility. In my own bathroom, I complete my sample. The swab feels like swallowing truth. The third kit waits in my office drawer, for later, for the baby that might carry my family name but not my DNA. I overnight all samples to the lab, pay extra for expedited processing and legal documentation. The confirmation email estimates 5 to 7 business days. 5 to 7 days to confirm what I already know. I ordered 3 kits, 1 for a different kind of test. The house feels different now, not empty, haunted. Sarah's things are still here, but she's staying with her sister. David has made himself scarce. The nursery door stays closed. I schedule meetings with financial advisors, real estate agents, family therapists, not for reconciliation, for documentation, for the paper trail that will matter in court. Mrs. Chen knocks on my door one evening with soup. I heard, she says simply. These walls. I know. My daughter is a court reporter. She says documentation is everything. Thank you. She pats my hand. We don't leave good men behind. We don't leave. The first echo of what will become my family's refrain. Tomorrow, I tell my parents. Tonight, I sit with Catherine's notes, the credit card statements, the ultrasound that started everything. Each piece of evidence is a small weight, and I'm building something inevitable from their mass. Sarah texts, "Can we talk?" I respond, "Through lawyers." She types for a long time. The dots appear and disappear. Finally, I'm keeping it. Noted. My brother texts next, "You're being cruel." I don't respond. Cruelty is subjective. Evidence is not. The nursery we painted after 3 miscarriages waits upstairs, its walls the color of hope we couldn't sustain. Tomorrow I'll start packing it away, but tonight I leave it as is. A monument to what we wanted. A museum of what we lost before we lost everything else. The changing table Sarah leaned against still holds the ultrasound photo. I leave that too. Evidence of the child that ended everything might be evidence of something else entirely. The beginning of truth, even when it arrives in betrayal's clothing. My mother's hands shake as she holds the credit card statements. We're in my parents' kitchen, the same table where David and I did homework, where Sarah first met them 6 years ago. Dad sits silent, his coffee growing cold. There must be an explanation, Mom says. There is. David is sleeping with my wife. Sarah is carrying his child. The words sound impossible even as I say them. Mom's face crumples like tissue paper. She reaches for the family photo album on the sideboard, the one she updates religiously after every holiday. How? Dad finally speaks. His voice is gravel. When I traveled, when you were in surgery, Tuesdays and Thursdays for 6 months. Mom opens the album. There's David's college graduation, David's promotion celebration, David as my best man, those damn cufflinks gleaming. Her fingers hover over each image like she's seeing a stranger. My boys, she whispers, my boys don't do this to each other. One did. She starts tearing. Not violent ripping, careful, methodical removal. David at Christmas, gone. David at my wedding, gone. The camping trip last summer, she tears him cleanly from the frame, leaving me standing alone by the lake. Mom? No. Her voice hardens. We don't leave family behind, but he left first. By the time she finishes, there's a pile of David's face on the table. 32 years of brotherhood reduced to scraps. She doesn't cry, neither does Dad. We sit with the butchered album between us, the remaining photos showing gaps like missing teeth. What do you need? Dad asks. Time, lawyers, maybe somewhere to stay. The guest room is yours. Your home is yours, Mom corrects. David is not welcome here. I'll call him tonight. Mom, you don't have to. He destroyed my family, both my sons, in one selfish act. She closes the album. Some things are unforgivable. Mom removes every photo of my brother that night. I return to the empty house because I need clothes, documents, the normal debris of life that continues despite catastrophe. The silence has weight now, like water pressure in deep ocean. Sarah's grandmother's china sits in our dining room cabinet, 12 place settings of spode blue Italian worth more than our car. Her most prized possession given early because Gran wanted to see Sarah use them. We'd eaten Thanksgiving dinner on these plates 5 months ago. David had complimented the pattern. I pack each piece in bubble wrap, more careful than necessary. The teacups nest inside each other with tissue paper barriers. The serving platter requires its own box. I'm not stealing, I'm preserving. These will return to Sarah's grandmother, not Sarah. Gran doesn't know yet. Another conversation, another heartbreak waiting. In the nursery, I find it, the pregnancy journal from our first try. Sarah documented everything, temperatures, symptoms, hope charted in blue ink. Michael held my hand during the injection. We painted the nursery yellow, neutral but happy. Lost it at 9 weeks. Michael cried harder than me. The entries stop after the 3rd miscarriage, but tucked inside the back cover, a new document, printouts from pregnancy websites dated 6 months ago, the same precise timing as the credit card charges. She was tracking her fertility while sleeping with my brother. I sit on the nursery floor, surrounded by the debris of our attempts at family. The crib we assembled and disassembled 3 times superstitiously. The mobile with elephants that match her dress. The tiny clothes washed in gentle detergent, waiting. Would you tell your parents, or protect them from this truth? I photograph every page of the journal. Evidence or memorial, I'm not sure which. I found the pregnancy journal from our first try. The meeting is a trap, but she doesn't know it. Sarah suggests the coffee shop where we had our first date. She's trying for nostalgia, manipulation through memory. I arrive early, place my phone on the table. The recording app is hidden beneath the calculator icon, legal in Michigan as long as one party consents. You look tired, she says, sliding into the booth. I'm fine. Michael, we need to discuss arrangements. That's what lawyers are for. I mean the baby. It's still your niece or nephew. The presumption is breathtaking. Noted. Stop saying that. Her composure cracks. God, you're so cold. You've always been cold. Is that your justification? You want justification? Fine. You were gone all the time. The miscarriages broke us, but you just threw yourself into work. David was here. He listened. He cared. He's my brother. And I'm your wife. Am. She falters. It just happened. 6 months of it just happening? Sarah laughs, the same breaking glass sound from the nursery. You want the truth? It was easy. So fucking easy. You're so predictable, Michael. Your schedules, your routines, Tuesday client dinners, Thursday partners meetings. We knew exactly when and for how long. David felt terrible at first, but you never even suspected. Never even looked at me anymore. Not really. 3 miscarriages and you just noted it. Like everything else. Noted and filed away. The recording app's timer ticks steadily. Every word evidence. Was any of it real? I ask. Our marriage? I loved you. I think I did. But David, she touches her stomach. This baby happened so easily. First try, maybe that means something. It means you were tracking your cycle while fucking my brother. The vulgarity makes her flinch. Good. I know about the journal, I continue. The new entries, the fertility tracking. You planned this. Her face changes, the mask finally dropping completely. You went through my things? Our things in our house that I'm still paying for. You want to know the truth? The real truth? She leans forward. He's better than you, in every way. The baby proves it. His works, yours didn't. Natural selection. That's your explanation? Evolution? She laughed when she said how easy it was. Linda opens the door holding her twins. 4 years old, identical braids, David's eyes. My nieces, though the word feels hollow now. Michael? David's not... I know. Can we talk? She invites me in, settles the girls with cartoons and goldfish crackers. Their house smells like vanilla candles and crayon wax. Normal. Innocent. Is David in trouble? Linda asks. When did he tell you about the Seattle promotion? What promotion? My chest tightens. Another lie. Linda, I need to show you something. I spread the credit card statements, the hotel receipts, the calendar showing David's supposed trips. Linda studies them with the focus of someone who already knows but needs confirmation. Tuesdays and Thursdays, she says quietly. You knew? I suspected. He said it was networking, building connections for the promotion. Her laugh is bitter. The promotion to Seattle. There is no promotion. He's been here with Sarah. The twins giggle at something on TV. Such a normal sound in this moment of revelation. Sarah, Linda repeats. You're Sarah. Yes. How long? 6 months. She's pregnant. Linda stands abruptly, walks to the window. The girls asked once. They said Aunt Sarah visited when you traveled. I thought they were confused. Kids see everything. Is that why you're here? To tell me my husband is having an affair with your wife? You deserve to know, and I pull out another folder. You'll need documentation for your lawyer. My lawyer. Catherine Reeves. She's expecting your call. Linda turns back to me. You've thought of everything. I've had 2 weeks to plan. And David doesn't know you know? He knows I know about the affair, not about the evidence, not about this conversation. Emma, the twin with the birthmark on her hand, toddles over. Uncle Mike, why are you sad? Just grown-up stuff, sweetheart. Daddy's sad too. He sleeps in his office. Linda scoops her up. Let's get you girls a snack. As she carries Emma to the kitchen, Ella follows, but stops at my knee. Aunt Sarah smells different, she announces. Different how? Like Daddy's cologne. Children. Honest witnesses we never think to coach. Their twins asked why Aunt Sarah visited when I traveled. The DNA results arrive via courier on a Tuesday. Fitting. I sign for the envelope, feel its weight, 3 tests, 3 truths inside. I open them in order. First, mine, baseline confirmation of my genetic markers, pages of data that define me at the molecular level. Second, David's, his stolen toothbrush providing answers he didn't consent to give. I compare the profiles. Brothers, clearly, shared markers from shared parents, but different enough. Third, the most important one, not a paternity test, not yet. That baby isn't born. This is something else. A fertility test I'd done 3 years ago after our second miscarriage, the one that showed low motility, poor morphology, the one that said natural conception would be challenging but not impossible. I'd never told Sarah about the full results, didn't want to add to her burden to make her think it was my fault, let her believe we were just unlucky. But David with his perfect genetics and easy smile, David who got Linda pregnant with twins on their honeymoon, David whose swimmers apparently work just fine. The irony is perfect. Sarah was right about one thing, natural selection. She selected the brother who could give her what I couldn't. She just forgot about the legal ramifications of that selection. I call Catherine. The DNA results are in. And? Everything we need for court. Michael, I need to ask, when the baby is born, I'll request a paternity test, official, court-ordered if necessary, even though you already know? Especially because I already know. The envelope tears as I fold it. Such a small sound for such a large truth. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. That evening, I sit with boxes of evidence, statements, recordings, DNA profiles, photographs. The architecture of betrayal documented in bankers' boxes. Tomorrow is the mediation. Sarah's lawyer has been pushing for reconciliation, for counseling. He doesn't know what Catherine knows. What I know. My phone rings. Mom. David called. She says, and? I told him he's no longer my son. Mom. No, Michael. Some bridges once burned don't get rebuilt. He made his choice. We're making ours. What did he say? That you'd forgive him eventually. That brothers get past things. We do, I say, but we're not brothers anymore. Silence stretches between us, filled with 32 years of before. The baby, she finally says, it's still our grandchild, biologically. I know, but not really, not in the ways that matter. No, not in the ways that matter. She sighs. We don't leave, but sometimes people leave us and we have to let them go. After we hang up, I stand in the nursery one more time. Tomorrow, after mediation, I'll hire someone to pack it properly. Donate the furniture to someone who needs it, someone whose hope hasn't been weaponized against them. The changing table where this started still holds that first ultrasound. I'll leave it for the lawyers to document. Let the court see what was sacrificed on the altar of their selfishness. My family is learning new mathematics, subtraction by betrayal, division by deceit, but also addition. Linda and the twins pulled closer by shared injury. My parents, fierce in their loyalty. Catherine and her brutal efficiency. Mrs. Chen with her soup and her wisdom. We're building something new from the wreckage. Not the family I planned, but perhaps the family I need. Tomorrow the legal reckoning begins. Tonight I sit with my evidence and my emptied house, and I prepare. Not for revenge, for justice. There's a difference, though sometimes it's hard to see. The unity candle from our wedding sits on the mantle, 5 years of dust on its surface. Sarah insisted on the ceremony, the symbolism of 2 flames becoming one. I consider throwing it away, but don't. Some symbols are worth keeping, if only to remember what they once meant before meaning itself became negotiable. The mediation room smells like furniture polish and fear. Sarah sits across the mahogany table with her lawyer, Richard Brennan, a man who specializes in protecting mothers' rights. David flanks her left, trying to project solidarity. He's wearing the cufflinks again, still. Catherine arranges our documents with surgical precision. 3 binders, color-coded tabs, each piece of evidence in chronological order. She's dressed like verdict itself. Black suit, pearl earrings, nothing that distracts from facts. Shall we begin with introductions? The mediator, Judge Patricia Wong, retired, has the voice of someone who's heard every lie humans can craft. We know each other, Sarah says. For the record, please. We go around, names, relationships, representation. When David introduces himself as Michael's brother and Sarah's partner, Catherine makes a note. Every word matters now. Mr. Brennan, Judge Wong begins, you've indicated your client seeks primary custody of the unborn child, spousal support, and an equitable division of assets. Correct. Mrs. Thompson has been a devoted wife for 5 years. The breakdown of the marriage, while regrettable, doesn't negate her contributions or her rights. The breakdown, Catherine repeats. Interesting phrasing. She opens Binder 1. Exhibit A through F credit card statements showing 6 months of hotel charges coinciding with my client's business travel. Exhibit G, security footage from the Marriott downtown showing Mr. David Thompson and Mrs. Sarah Thompson entering together on 14 separate occasions. Sarah's face drains. They didn't know about the footage. Hotels keep everything. Exhibit H, a recorded conversation where Mrs. Thompson admits to the affair and states, quote, "It was easy, so fucking easy." Richard whispers urgently to Sarah. David's hand moves to his ear. Furthermore, Catherine continues, opening Binder 2, we have the prenuptial agreement signed by both parties, notarized and witnessed. Section 7B explicitly addresses infidelity. She slides the document across the table. Richard reads, his expression shifting from confident to concerned. This seems unusually punitive. Mrs. Thompson's father drafted it. He insisted both parties had independent counsel. But surely the pregnancy, Catherine interrupts, opening Binder 3, is addressed in subsection 3. Infidelity with a family member of the spouse triggers additional penalties, including forfeiture of all marital assets and automatic relinquishment of spousal support claims. My lawyer slid the prenup across the table. This is unconscionable, Richard protests. This is contract law, Judge Wong observes. The agreement appears valid. David stands. This is my fault, not Sarah's. I pursued her. Interesting, Catherine says. Would you like to repeat that under oath? Because Exhibit J suggests otherwise. Fertility tracking documents showing Mrs. Thompson planned the encounters around ovulation. Sarah's sob fills the room. Real or performed, I can't tell anymore. We're not monsters. I finally speak. I'm not seeking to leave Sarah destitute. She can keep her personal property, her car, her grandmother's china, but the house, the joint accounts, the investment portfolio, those revert to me per the prenuptial agreement. And the child? Richard asks. Will be born to unmarried parents. Custody arrangements will be determined post-birth, pending paternity confirmation. You're demanding a paternity test? Sarah's voice cracks. Trust requires verification. David lunges halfway across the table before Judge Wong's sharp command freezes him. Mr. Thompson, sit down or be removed. He sits, fists clenched. You're destroying her over a mistake. No, I correct. You destroyed us over 6 months of choices. Catherine pulls out the final document. My client is also prepared to file alienation of affection charges against David Thompson should this mediation fail to reach acceptable terms. That's checkmate. Michigan doesn't recognize alienation of affection, but Washington, where David supposedly lives, does. The threat alone is enough. Richard leans back. We need to caucus. As they file out, Catherine touches my shoulder. You okay? No revenge, no hatred, just boundaries. She nods. Just boundaries. The family gathering was supposed to be Mom's birthday dinner. Instead, it becomes an intervention. David doesn't know he's the guest of honor. My aunts arrived first, then cousins, then Uncle Pete, who drove 4 hours from Toledo. 37 family members crowded into my parents' house, the same house where David and I grew up, fought, reconciled, became best friends as well as brothers. He arrives at 6:30, flowers for Mom, stops dead when he sees the crowd. "What is this?" "Sit down, David," Dad says. His voice carries the authority of patriarch disappointed. "This is about Michael and Sarah. It's between us." "No," Aunt Marie interjects. "When you sleep with your brother's wife, it becomes family business." David's eyes scan the room, looking for allies, finding none. Even cousin Jamie, who David bailed out of jail twice, won't meet his gaze. "You don't understand," David starts. "Then explain," Mom says. "Explain how you could do this, to Michael, to Linda, to your daughters. It just happened. For 6 months?" Uncle Pete's disgust is palpable. It just happened for 6 months. Grandmother enters last, 93 years old and sharp as winter. She walks directly to David, studies his face like reading a map. "Your grandfather's brother did something similar," she says quietly. "Ran off with his brother's fiancée in 1952. "What happened to them?" David asks. "Nothing. They were already dead to us." She turns to Mom. "Helen, I need to update my will. David and his children are no longer included." "Grandma, my girls didn't do anything wrong." "No, but their father did, and consequences have generations." She moves to me, presses something into my hand. "This was for your firstborn, still is." It's her wedding ring, the one Sarah always admired, the one that was supposed to pass to David's wife first, as the eldest son's privilege. Grandma asked for her ring back from Sarah. Not literally, Sarah never had it yet, but the promise of it, the expectation of inheritance, evaporates in this moment. David looks around the room one more time. "You're all just going to abandon me over this?" "You abandoned us first," Dad says. "When you touched your brother's wife, you left this family." "We don't leave," everyone says in unison. They'd planned this, but you already did. David storms out, flowers forgotten on the entry table. Mom throws them in the trash, choreographed, deliberate, final. Linda arrives an hour later with the twins, just as planned. They timed it perfectly. The girls run to their cousins, unaware their world has shifted. Linda hands Dad an envelope. "Divorce papers, filed this morning." The family embraces her, absorbs her, makes clear that leaving David doesn't mean leaving us. The twins will keep their connection to grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. We don't punish children for their father's sins, but we document them for future understanding. The call comes at 3 a.m. on a Thursday in March. Sarah's sister, not Sarah. "The baby's coming." "Okay." "She wants you there." "No." "Michael, please. There are complications." I sit in the darkness of my new apartment, smaller, but mine alone, and weigh decency against boundaries. "Is David there?" "Yes." "Then she has support." "The baby might not. It's early, 34 weeks. The math still works, still David's, but the child remains innocent of its origin story. "I'll be in the waiting room," I concede. Not for her, not for him, for the child that didn't choose this. The hospital smells like sanitizer and sadness. David paces the hallway, sees me, approaches. "Thank you for coming." "I'm not here for you. The baby is your responsibility." He touches his ear, that tell again. "Mike, what if something happens?" "Then you'll handle it, like adults, as you said." A nurse appears. "Mr. Thompson?" We both turn. "Sorry, David Thompson?" He follows her, leaving me with ghosts and what-ifs. 4 hours pass. Dawn breaks gray through the waiting room windows. Other families celebrate, cry, wait. Normal families with normal complications. Finally, Linda arrives. She sits beside me, says nothing for a long moment. Boy, she finally says, they named him James. How do you know? I'm still on Sarah's emergency contact list. She shows me the text. 5 pounds, 2 ounces, he's in NICU but stable. Good. He has the birthmark. Every Thompson baby for 4 generations has the same birthmark. A small port wine stain behind the left ear. I have it. David has it. The twins have it. Then he's a Thompson, I say. By blood, not by choice. We sit with that truth until Linda speaks again. I'm taking the girls to Portland. My sister lives there. Fresh start. Clean slate. She pulls out an envelope. The divorce was finalized yesterday. Full custody, supervised visitation only. He agreed? Catherine's threat about the alienation suit was convincing. Through the window, I glimpse Sarah in a wheelchair, David pushing her toward the exit. She looks smaller, depleted. He looks older, grayer. They look like strangers playing roles they don't understand. The baby had our family's distinctive birthmark. Portland suits Linda. The twins thrive in their new school. Mom visits monthly. Dad helps with homework over video calls. The family adjusts, adapts, continues without David's presence. I sell the house to a young couple expecting their first child. They love the nursery, want to keep the yellow paint. I leave it pristine for them, for hope that deserves its chance. The wedding rings, mine and Sarah's, sit in my lawyer's office for 3 weeks before I decide. Not pawn shops or garbage, something better. The jeweler offers good money for the platinum and diamonds, enough for significance. I take the check to the community college financial aid office. I want to establish a scholarship, I tell them, for single parents returning to school. Any particular field? Whatever helps them rebuild. The fund will generate 1 full scholarship per year. The first recipient is a woman leaving an abusive marriage, studying to become a paralegal. She sends a thank you note that I frame proof that endings can become beginnings. Sarah's grandmother's china goes back to Gran, who receives it without comment but with understanding. The prenup is executed precisely. Sarah keeps her car, her personal belongings, nothing more. She moves back with her parents, David following like a shadow. My apartment is smaller but fuller. Mom brings dinner on Sundays. Linda and the twins visit when they're in town. Mrs. Chen from the old neighborhood sends cards with soup recipes. The proceeds from our rings covered a foster child's college fund. I write the letter on a Thursday evening in September, 1 year after everything began to unravel, not to Sarah or David, to James. Dear James, you'll be 18 when you read this. Old enough to understand complexity, young enough to still choose your path. You didn't choose the circumstances of your birth, neither did I. Neither did anyone touched by the choices that created you. But you exist, and existence deserves truth delivered with compassion. Your biological father is David Thompson. He was my brother. Was because relationships are defined by actions, not just blood. He chose a path that severed us, but that severance doesn't extend to you. Your birthmark behind your left ear connects you to generations of Thompsons. We're builders, teachers, stubborn believers in second chances. You carry that legacy regardless of the chaos that preceded you. Your mother loved deeply but wrongly. Your father loved selfishly but truly in his broken way. They're human, flawed, capable of both creation and destruction, sometimes simultaneously. This family, your family, should you choose to claim it, believes in boundaries without bitterness, justice without cruelty, moving forward without forgetting. We don't leave. Even when people leave us, we don't leave the possibility of return. Your cousins, Emma and Ella, live in Portland. They don't know you yet, but they will if you wish. Your grandparents, my parents, set aside a trust for your education. Not obligation, but option. I won't pretend I wasn't angry, won't claim immediate forgiveness or understanding, won't minimize the damage that created you. But none of that is your burden. You are not your parents' sins or my pain. You are your own possibility. The world is wide enough for all of us, even when the same room isn't. Should you ever need medical history, family information, or simply to understand where you come from, I'm here. Not as an uncle, that relationship died with others' choices, but as someone who knows that children don't choose their origin stories. We write our own endings. Choose wisely, choose kindly, choose knowing you were born into complexity, but don't have to live there. Michael Thompson, the uncle you never knew, writing to the nephew I choose to acknowledge. I fold the letter into an envelope, write, for James Thompson to be opened on his 18th birthday across the front. Then I light the unity candle from my wedding, watch 5 years of dust burn away. The wax pools, still pure despite everything. I pour it carefully, sealing the letter with the same wax that once symbolized two becoming one. Now it means something else. Endings sealed with the possibility of beginnings. Pain transformed to purpose. The family we choose rising from the ashes of the family we lost. I sealed it with the wax from our unity candle. The letter goes into my safe deposit box, beside the trust documents Mom and Dad established, beside the scholarship paperwork, beside the photo Linda sent of the twins in their new school uniforms, smiling, adjusting, continuing. Mrs. Chen was right. We don't leave good men behind. But sometimes we have to leave others and move forward, not with hatred, and that's too heavy to carry, but with boundaries firm as courthouse doors, clear as DNA results, final as melted wax. Sarah and David have another child 2 years later, a girl, no birthmark. They marry quietly, no family attending. I hear updates occasionally. They struggle, they survive, they stay together. Whether from love or mutual destruction, I neither know nor care. Linda remarries, a good man who adopts the twins, gives them stability and soccer practices and father-daughter dances. She sends Christmas cards with 4 children now, her family rebuilt and thriving. The nursery in my old house holds new dreams now. The couple who bought it had twins, boys who will grow up in rooms painted with hope that wasn't mine but becomes theirs. The cycle continues cleaner. I date occasionally. Tell the truth early. About the marriage, the betrayal, the brother who isn't. Some leave, some stay. One eventually understands that scar tissue is stronger than original skin. Her name is Grace. She has her own ghosts, her own ruins toured and released. We don't promise forever. We promise today, then tomorrow, then the day after. Small promises kept are worth more than grand ones broken. At our small wedding, family only, no unity candles, Mom reads something she wrote. We don't leave. Even when leaving would be easier. We don't leave good people behind. We don't leave children wondering. We don't leave love unspoken or boundaries unclarified. We don't leave. But when others leave us, through choice, through cruelty, through the casual destruction of bonds we thought unbreakable, we let them go. Not with hatred, but with clarity. Not with revenge, but with remembrance of what was and acceptance of what is. We don't leave. We rebuild. The family applauds. Linda cries. The twins throw flowers with enthusiasm that makes everyone laugh. David isn't there. Sarah isn't there. But James exists in the future. A letter waiting. A choice pending. A bridge that might be built or might remain architectural theory. We don't leave, even when others do. We simply rebuild, stronger and more selective, understanding that family is both biology and choice, and sometimes the choice matters more. Grace squeezes my hand as we walk back down the aisle, no cufflinks gleaming with betrayal, no ultrasounds shattering worlds, no hotels charging to credit cards like admission fees to destruction. Just forward, just building, just the family we choose rising from the family we lost, stronger for being tested, cleaner for being chosen. The letter waits in the safe deposit box, sealed with unity candle wax that once meant two becoming one. Now it means something more, that endings and beginnings can share the same wax, the same hope, the same careful construction of tomorrow from the controlled demolition of yesterday. We don't leave, but we do move on. And sometimes moving on is the greatest kindness we can offer to ourselves, to those who hurt us, and to the innocent who never asked to be born into our careful reconstructions. Share your story of finding family in unexpected places. Someone rebuilding today needs to know they're not alone.